I spend a lot of time on this channel talking about my own head. The neurodivergence, the middle school awkwardness, that constant feeling of being an underrated artist just trying to find a voice. But I've realized that the reason I'm so obsessed with the Hazbin Hotel soundtrack isn't just because the songs are awesome. It's because these songs feel like a mirror to the stuff I usually only talk about in my story times. When Angel Dust sings about being a loser, or when Vaggie struggles with the weight of her past, I don't just hear the lyrics. I hear the sound of someone trying to reconcile who they are with who they think they have to be. Today, I'm drawing some of my favorite characters, but I'm not just looking at their designs. I'm diving into the psychology of their music to see why their internal chaos feels so much like my own. Because maybe finding yourself in hell isn't that different from finding yourself in art. We're starting in the deep end, at the bottom of the barrel. Loser Baby is easily one of the most beloved tracks in the show, and it's for good reason. On the surface, it's a catchy jazz duet, but underneath, it's a psychological handshake between two people who have finally stopped lying to themselves. Angel Dust spent his entire afterlife performing. He's the star, the entertainer, the one who's fine. But Husk sees through the glitter. When they sing about being losers, they aren't insulting each other. They're stripping away the shame. They're saying, hey, I'm a mess, you're a mess. And that's the most honest thing about us. As an artist, I find so much beauty in this mess. We spend so much time trying to make our lines perfect and make our colors correct. But some of the best art, the best growth, comes from leaning into the mistakes. It's that neurodivergent struggle of feeling like you're falling to the normal way of doing things, only to realize that your loser traits are actually where your community is hiding. Husk tells Angel he doesn't need to change. He just tells him that he's not alone in the gutter. And there's a specific type of freedom that comes with that realization. When you stop trying to be fixed and start being seen, the mess starts to look a lot like a masterpiece. So, as we layer in these colors, think about your own mess. What's the part of yourself that you've been trying to hide that might actually be the bridge to finding your people? If Loser Baby is about finding your people in the wreckage, then Easy, the reprise of More Than Anything, is about that terrifying moment that you realize that people actually see you. All of you, the real you. But here's the thing about being a protector. Sometimes, the shield we build to keep our loved ones safe ends up being the wall that keeps us isolated. Vaggie's fear wasn't just that she used to be an exorcist. Her real fear was that if Charlie saw her as broken or fallen, the pedestal that she was on would crumble. And if she wasn't on that pedestal, would Charlie still want her? In the song, the vulnerability is a choice. Vaggie has to stop trying to earn her place and just exist in it. She even sings it in the song with being proud. No blow comes close to fatal for this princess and fallen angel. She's accepting it. It's that imposter syndrome that we talk about so much on this channel. It's that feeling that if people knew the real you, the neurodivergent quirks, the past mistakes, the messy bits, they'd leave. But Charlie's response to this melody is the ultimate answer to that fear. Love isn't about finding someone perfect to protect. It's about two people who are just as lost as each other and deciding that being lost together is better than being found alone. Vaggie thought being known would be her downfall, but it turns out it was the only thing that would set her free. So, what does it actually look like to visualize the soul? We started this journey in the gutter with a couple of losers who realized that being a mess is a lot less lonely when you're doing it together. Then we moved on to the quiet, terrifying space of letting someone see the fallen parts of who you are. When we look at Hazbin Hotel through this lens, we see that the soundtrack isn't just catchy, it's a map of human experience. Whether it's the loud defiance of accepting your flaws, or the soft acoustic realization that you don't just have to be perfect to be loved. These songs remind us that the soul isn't a static thing. It's a work in progress. Just like these paintings. Art, like so much like life, starts with a lot of messy lines and uncertain colors. But if we're brave enough to keep layering, to keep being honest with the canvas and ourselves, we end up with something truly beautiful. Something real. Ever since I was first introduced to the YouTube scene, indie animation has always captivated me. The idea that just one person or a small group of people could make their own story come to life on the big screen without an animation studio, it was incredible. And today I'm focusing on one of my personal favorites, Hazbin Hotel. I've been obsessed with the Helloverse aesthetic lately, and since you guys loved my art style challenges, and because it's been requested a few times, that's right, it's time to send my OCs to the Pride Ring. While I draw, I'm going to talk a bit about the indie animation revolution that made shows like Hazbin Hotel possible. So, let's jump right into it. The first indie animation pilot that I remember seeing was the Ramshackle animated pilot, which is actually based off a webcomic, and I was enamored with it. The storyline, the characters, and the animation, all made from a small group of creators, it blew my freaking mind. And if you're looking for a new indie animated pilot to watch, I highly recommend it. To be honest, I didn't discover the Hazbin Hotel scene like most people do. Honestly, the first time I discovered it was seeing a clip of Hell's Greatest Dad on TikTok. And that was all it took to spark my curiosity. I finally watched Hazbin Hotel in late 2024, and I honestly didn't know what to expect from it. But then I watched the first episode, and then the second, and then, okay, I loved it. I never even expected to see musical numbers in the series. And, well, let's just say that after the first 8 episodes, I was dying, pun intended, for the second season to come out. And, okay, I'll admit, I literally woke up at 5 in the morning when the second season released on Prime to watch the premiere. A totally normal thing to do. No shame and no judging in the comments. You would have done the same thing. So, the first character I decided to transition to the Hazbin Hotel universe was the main protagonist of my webcomic, Grace. And I decided to change her design to be a mix of her and Baggy's. Baggy is honestly one of my favorite Hazbin Hotel characters just because of how grounded she is. And the reason I chose her to be the foundation for Grace's redesign is because her personality coincides with Grace's a lot. They are both very protective of their loved ones, and they're both a bit tomboyish. And, fun fact, Grace's water wings were inspired by Baggy's angel wings, and a bit of lapis lazuli from Steven Universe. And, also another fun fact, Grace is confirmed to be Latina in the webcomic, speaking Spanish under her breath in tense moments. I wonder who that sounds like. For Grace's Hazbin redesign, I kept most of Baggy's design for her. The main differences were that for the red shirt, I made the red a bit darker, and instead of the bow being on top of Grace's head, I had her hair tied in a low ponytail with a smaller bow. Kind of referencing Baggy going from her long hair, with her long hair going into a ponytail in season 2. The hardest part was the hair covering her left eye. I played around with the bangs a lot, and while it's a lot more rounded than Baggy's in the show, I think it works. And, since Grace is always wearing jeans in the webcomic, I decided to combine that with Baggy's skirt and give her a jean skirt instead. I think this was the simplest of the redesigns, but I think it turned out really well. So, as many of you probably already know, I have a webcomic called Outcasts. You probably only heard me yap about it maybe a million times on this channel. But something that you might not know is that, well, people like Vivziepop are the ones that inspired me to learn animation. For those of you who don't know, unlike a lot of people, I didn't go to school for art or animation or anything like that. But thanks to independent creators like the YouTube Storytime animators and indie animators, it gave me that spark to learn how to animate. And who knows? Maybe I'll make an animated series of my webcomic one day. Or at the very least, I could make some animated shorts here on YouTube about it. Who knows? Anyways, for our second character, I knew I had to do someone to go wrong with Alistair. So, rather than going with someone who matches him style-wise, I thought more about personality. And I decided to go with Josh from my webcomic, Grace's oldest brothers. So, let me ramble for a bit. While Josh doesn't really fit the cold-hearted anti-hero trope that Alistair usually goes into, the two do have some similarities. For example, Alistair likes to plan things out. He's very calculating, and he hates it when things go off the rails, so to speak. He's also very controlling, something that we can see with Josh a lot. He wants to control everything he can for his family, something that we see when he even goes to the lengths of keeping his younger siblings so sheltered and isolated in the family home after a tragic accident. Also, Hell's greatest dad and Alistair being a father figure to Charlie kind of parallels Josh's parental role in the family, but it's more genuine. Anyways, I digress. Anyways, back to the redesign. I didn't want to copy Alistair's design completely, so I decided to have a little fun with this one. So, I traded out Alistair's deer traits for fox attributes. Yes, I know it's been confirmed in Season 2 that Alistair doesn't have a tail, but this is my redesign and I'm keeping the fox tail with Josh. I also kept the design of Alistair's suit, but I traded his bow tie for just a regular tie, and I toned down the formality of it all. Josh is more casual than the radio demon, after all. When it came to choosing the colors of the suit, I'm not gonna lie, I struggled a lot. But after playing with the colors for a bit, I came up with an elegant solution. Instead of red, I made the suit jacket a dark brown to contrast with the red aspects. Not only does it give it more of a tweed jacket look, but it also goes along with Josh's hair color. I decided to keep Alistair's skin tone, gave it some finishing touches with the eyes, and we are done for this redesign. So here's the final lineup for both characters in their Hazbin Hotel redesign. If you want to see me do a specific show style next, comment below. And let me know which of these OCs you'd love to see in a musical number. Honestly, I can't say because of spoilers for my webcomic, but I've been dying to do easy with two of my characters. And again, a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you so much for making Outcasts a reality. Keep creating, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!